Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So obviously in the last video I made a horrendous job of putting together our folio folder and our little journal that we're going to have inside there. So obviously I have an awful lot of stuff left that I thought that we would just, you know, decorate this up and, you know, go wild, hopefully using up loads and loads of that stuff that we've got kind of put to the side. So let's just kind of get crazy and yeah, just try and use up like as much stuff as we possibly can, really, so that that pile is really whittled down. Now my folder has become a little bit grubby, unfortunately, during the, you know, when it was getting stuck on my mat whilst I was putting it together. But again, you know, not a problem, because we're going to obviously be, you know, decorating it further. So I've got here some of the sheet music from where we have, you know, decorated this. So as you can see, my journal, I've bound it and then I've kind of put holes in here with elastic, and I will be tying it in, but I'm not going to do that just yet because I might put fabric and things over the spine. So I'm just going to hold fire and then we'll decide exactly, you know, what we're having where. So I might just decorate the outside first. Often I do the covers last, but yeah, today I've got this urge to just do the cover a little bit. So I'm just going to hopefully, like we say, use as much stuff out of that pile as we possibly can, because, you know, we're aiming to get our pile down as much as possible. So let's just go crazy with the decorating and eliminate as much as we possibly can. So I've got this, which again, for me, this doesn't really go because you've got those doves on there. Well, the doves go okay, but the flowers don't. So again, what I'll do, if I have this on here, you know, I'm choosing it because I like the text and the, you know, the font type bits. So I will try then to cover up what else is possibly on there. So let's just have a look. Now I've also got these Tim Holtz paper dolls because I thought they might be quite nice on here. So they might be quite fun somewhere. I mean, all these things are not really from that pile, so I'm a bit cheating when I'm pulling in things like that. That's cheating really. But I've got behind me, oops, on the floor, some of this, which we have used this inside the journal. So, you know, that paper would be quite nice to have on there. So let's just pop some of that on there. I'll just glue that down. So, wow, what an awful video that was last time. Oh, let's hope that this one goes a little bit better. I don't really know what happened, to be honest, but yeah, I just hadn't really thought anything through, and just kind of thought that I would just come on and wing it, and, you know, spotted the Amazon packaging and thought, oh, let's just use that on here, and oh, it all just kind of went awry really, and yeah, was not the best, was it? But hey, never mind, it's all good fun. So we just pop this down, and we just want to have like a really eclectic bunch of stuff now, I think. So yeah, just lots of layered pieces, and, you know, just make it interesting. Get rid of a whole bunch of stuff from my desk. A whole bunch of, obviously, you know, what we're calling the X-file, or the X-piles. The X-piles. You know, just try and get rid of a lot of that stuff. So, do we like these ladies here? I think they're quite nice. What do you think? So we'll have those. So we'll just glue this down. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just crafting, isn't it? And, you know, it should be fun, shouldn't it? Not stressful. So there's no point stressing about how any of our projects go, because of course then it's not going to be fun, is it? It's just going to be a big stress. And there's quite enough stress in life without then stressing over craft. So yeah, you know, you might as well just laugh about it and think, oh well, you know, it was worth a try. And you know, we have got this now project on the go as a result. So yeah, we're just gonna literally, you know, pull any old thing in, really. I mean, that sounds super casual, and hopefully it won't be quite as mindless as that. But you know, the plan is hopefully that we're just going to, yeah, not really overthink things and just have a really eclectic sort of mix of just lovely yumminess going on here. So that's the plan. Now I've got some of these clusters which I had made. And I just wonder whether we could have had those actually. I might save those for inside the journal. Perhaps we'll have these ladies here, I think. Now, do we want to have anything else on here? I have other things. Of course, I have other things laying around on my desk. I have flowers. We could have a couple of flowers. This is just copy paper, these bits here. And these ones are just from my glue book favourites one, set one, or set one. But weirdly, colour wise, I just think actually they might look really good on here. What did I just do with that? So let's just cut out a couple of the flowers. Yeah, rightly or wrongly, I am back with no fixed plan. So who knows what's going to go on today? Who knows what fun we're going to have today? Okie dokie. Yeah, I just thought colour-wise, all these pieces would really look good here on this cover. I mean, I didn't pull them in. They just happened to be, like, on my desk. And then I spotted them and thought, oh, they'd be quite good colours, I think, to mix and match here. So, you know, nice to incorporate some other bits and bobs, isn't it? And I'd like to have a really, you know, full-on load of stuff on here. Try and make it, you know, really interesting to look at. So cut out this big fan. Oh, that would be quite nice behind them, wouldn't it? Maybe there. Now, of course, we're going to want some lace somewhere here as well. So need to kind of bear that in mind. And I haven't decided what colour lace to go with, but I'll have a look through my drawer in a minute. I mean, again, because I'm trying to just be really quite eclectic here and not overthink at all, but instead just pull in any old thing. And I do mean that in the nicest way. I don't mean that to sound really like casual as in, oh, don't care, but more casual, let's be really exciting and eclectic. You know, because I'm sometimes a little bit more matchy, you know, and yeah, I just fancy doing a bit more of a let's have any old thing here. But yeah, I do mean that in the nicest way, not literally any old thing as in who cares if it looks good or not, but instead any old thing, but hopefully those those things are actually going to look good together. So there, pop that down there. Okay. And then have those. Oh, look, there was another little hole there. Oh, that's better, isn't it? Is there any more? Oh, look, another one there in her, between her ankles. I hadn't noticed that I had all those little bits yet to be popped out. Okay. She would have been stuck down with all those bits still attached. So we just have that flower there. Oops. Oh, I'm kind of thinking maybe one of those number tabs there might look good. Let's go for this one, as I've already inked up the number 10. We'll just go for that one. So I'm just doing like easy life crafting now, just going for the bits that are ready inked and ready to use. It might not look very good, but it might look okay. Well, that's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah, just I'm hoping to have lots of just interesting things on this cover. So, you know, a whole variety of nice things to look at. So, pop that one down. Just there. Then we'll have this flower. Okay. Oops. Let me get my wipe. Just dab that up a little bit. Okay, right. So we're going to have those there. Now I'm just going to kind of look down on it. I've got some of my Nan's neck curtain here, which I had coffee dyed. So just deciding how to have this. I mean, maybe on the spine might look quite nice. Do we want it anywhere else is the question. So like if we're having them ladies there, might just have to pull in. Let me just have a look. Just gonna have a quick look and see what I've got in my drawer. Oh, that's quite nice. Right. Because I've got my lovely drawers now that are, well, they're not all organised, but the lace one, that's organised, which is wonderful. But I just spotted this. This was gifted to me in Happy Mail, and I just thought, oh, this might look quite good somewhere. That might look quite good. Maybe kind of just there. Oh, that's quite nice. Yeah, I like that. And then would we have then this down here as well? Oh, yeah, I like that. I do like that. So let's just go for that. So I'm just going to cut this off. Now, shall I have this going round? Probably round the back there. Okay. Check I'm putting it the right way up. I mean, I don't think it's really got a right and wrong, but just in case it has. So again, just dab on my Fabri-Tac like that. Okay. A bit more there. Go right the way along. Oops, okay. I'm just having that sort of there, like off to the edge like that. And then we'll just wrap it round. Oops, look, I forgot that I have my elastic on there, so perhaps I'll take my elastic out. Oh gosh, now I'm stuck on it like that, because I can always then poke a hole into that fabric, if you see what I mean, to put the elastic through. I mean, if I was a bit more careful about this, I could actually place this so the elastic would fit round one of those holes. Get my pokey tool out. See if I can find where that hole is. Oops. And then just have this sort of move down a bit. Okay. So I can actually kind of make a bigger hole here, like that, and then place that directly over the violet, she says, and now I can't seem to do it, like that. Okay, so then it's like in place already. Right, might have to just tidy this up now a little bit, because of course my glue then dried before it was then stuck. So right, now what I'm trying to do is obviously pull that down so that then I can get to that eyelet and obviously poke my elastic through there. Wow, that was a long way getting around there, wasn't it? So then we're going to have our ladies on here. They look really nice, don't they? Now I should probably ink my bit up, but to be honest I might just ink it afterwards, and then I'll sort of capture some of the fabric as well. So I've just got this lace, which I'm loving at the moment. Well, I've been loving it for a while actually. So maybe that there. And obviously we're going to have this like wrapped around. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this here like this for the moment. So I'm just going to stick these ladies down. And then I'm going to come back to this, because until I know how fat the journal is going to be, I don't really know what part of that flap is actually going to be showing, if that makes sense. Because obviously, depending on how fat the journal actually turns out, will depend how much of this is showing. Okie dokie. So we just pop our ladies down like that. But I love how they look. They look really good on there, don't they? So, yeah. Just glue them down. I assume they're from like the 20s, but the 20s always appeared very glamorous, doesn't it? When you look back at pictures and what have you. It looks like a very glamorous era. Right, let's put that to one side and bring the journal back in. Now, like we say, I'm just going to try and do a lot of eclectic stuff to get rid of just as much of this stuff as possible that we've got here. So straight away, I've got this, which, you know, we could just make a pocket in here. And actually I tore that paper a little bit, so we could have it on that side, and that then just covers that slightly. So let's do that. I'm just going to trim that down just a little bit. Just because it wasn't very straight. You just need to just bring it down slightly in height. Okay. Now, do you think we're going to manage to get through that whole pile? Is that just like ridiculous? That's just not going to happen. Well, it might happen. Probably won't. Probably won't, but it might. Let's see if we can. So we're just going to pop that there, like that. Let's just move that down slightly. Okay, so that's a pocket there. Now, let's have something on here as well. I mean, we could even just have a piece paper clipped onto here. So let's have a look and see what we've got. Well, we've got this. So again, you know, let's just try and use up like the whole sheets in their entirety perhaps, because, you know, that's that's a good way to get rid of stuff, isn't it? So we could have this folded. I'm just going to trim it down slightly. I mean, we could have it the whole length, I guess. Or is that a bit strange? Let's trim it down slightly, because otherwise it seems a bit weird. So we'll just trim that down there. Just round the corners. Oh my gosh, I've made a horrible job of cutting that down. No wonder the corners didn't want to round. It was not very straight at all. Oh my gosh, I'm literally like all over the place. All over the place. Right. Okay. I had this that we didn't end up using on the front. So perhaps we could have that there. We have that there. Now, again, I've got those paper dolls. I wonder. No. I just wonder whether there's like a sort of stumpy one that would cover up more or less the whole of that. That's quite good, isn't it? Right, so again, you know, going with this and trying to use up as much as I can. So I'll just tear out this little bit of sheet music, like that. I'm thinking, do we want it there? Let's just tear that in a bit. So if we have that on there, now what happened to that man? I mean, he is sitting down, so I mean, technically, you know, possibly could do with something to have him sat on. Maybe we'll have him sat like that. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Right, let's go for this. Well, maybe we will manage to get through the whole pile after all. So that one. And then we'll just pop this on. Again, I probably should have inked this up, to be honest, first, but never mind. And then we'll have this here, just because, you know, he needs something to be sat on. He can't just be like floating in midair, like, I don't know, like a magician. Or, oh, what are those people called? What's that thing called when people are floating? Levitating. It's just levitating. Now, has he got any bits to be popped out? Yep, he has. You can really easily miss these bits, to be honest. Because, I mean, like that piece, that's titchy. I can't even get to it. Let me get my pokey tool again. Yeah, can't even get to that piece. It's minute. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to have him sat there. Like that. He's a handsome man, isn't he? He's got a nice face. Like a kind man. Okay. So just pop him down there, like that. Okay, now what I'm thinking is I've got this one with the flowers. So I'm just wondering if I cut this down this way, like that, to about that height. Well, let's just, hang on, let's just take that. do one to the side, like that. I'm just thinking we could make a little sort of flippy pad there from that, and then we've just got that piece left to use. I know it's not got many pages in it, but let's see what else we've got. Well, we've got some of that vellum, which I unfortunately really mucked up by scorching it. So we could also have a bit of that, couldn't we, going on? So this needs to be smaller because it's quite long. So I like it with the pattern. If we have that there, just tear that off. And then just going to go in. It doesn't matter if this is a bit shorter, I guess. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. So let's just cut that down. I wondered whether we could have got sort of more out of this, but so let's just tear that across there. And then we have another section from it. If I have that piece there, like that. Okay, and I'm just going to tear this off here. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately this is really kind of scorched and not great, so I'm going to throw that in the bin, I think. I know, horrible when you have to throw things away, isn't it? Right, what else? What else have I got? I've got this, which is nice and plain. So let's just again take a couple of sheets of this that we'll just staple into there, making that extra sort of flippy type pad there. So again, let me just trim that down at the edge. Okay. Oops, look, got another piece there. So we've actually got quite a few pieces now in our flippy pad. So yeah, it turned out okay, actually. Turned out okay. So right, we have a gigantic piece there. So I'm just going to trim that down because it's really wide. And then we'll just tear them off here. Okay, right. What's that? Right, okay. So I'm just going to staple these across now. One, two, three. And then we'll just glue that into here. So I'm just going to trim it down slightly at the top. So I'm just going to use my hot glue because that's nice and quick, just across the top like that. And just pop that in there. Like that. And then, oh my gosh, what's going on there? Look at my pieces. They're like slanty off the page. So let me just trim that down. Right, okay. So across the top, just want to cover up that bit there. So let me again just have a look, see what scraps I've got here, because I think, you know, it's quite a good way to just use some scrap type bits. I don't really want to use any of those bits. They're like too good to use for that. Do you know what? I've got some Edith Holden here, which I've used for something else. So let's just tear that down. Because all I'm wanting to do is just cover up the staples, really. So we're just going to pop that there. So let me grab my ink pad. Just ink that up. And we didn't ink the cover at all, did we? But again, I mean, we can do that when we come to actually sort of finish the cover off. So, right, I'm just going to, again, I'm just going to use my hot glue just to get this down. Just because that's really nice and quick, so I don't have to wait then at all for it to dry. It's just instant. Okay, and then I'm just going to ink this cover up. I mean, obviously it's been coffee dyed anyway, but just, you know, he hadn't been coffee dyed, the man, and neither had the sheet music. So, oops, he was just coming away on his head a bit. There we go. Right. So we have a little booklet that we can just now paper clip on. So again, let me just pull in a paper clip. Now this is quite a big paper clip. So again, I'm thinking we could maybe make something to do an altered paper clip, but we'll see. Right, so let's go over the page. So on here, let's again see what we've got. Might have to just quickly go and get a cup of tea because I'm feeling quite thirsty. So I'll be back in a minute. Right, I am back with my cup of tea. So let's just crack on and, you know, get some more things in here. So obviously I've got some of this, you know, sheet music here. So let's just, well, you know, when I say some of it, it's just obviously the piece that I just tore off of that cover of that little booklet that we made. So that can just go on here like that. And then what else can I put there? Again, I have more of these thingamajigglies, paper dolls. So I'm going crazy on using these, to be honest. You get like a ton of them in the pack, you know, which of course is, you know, super fun. But yeah, they're like bulging out. I've got them stored in my fabric hanging organizer that I made from my Roman blind. So they're kind of bulging out of there, to be honest. They're, you know, it's so generous that they're just literally bulging at the seams. So it's quite good to actually use a few up. Now I'm just wondering whether we could take some of that vellum and maybe have him placed on that. Don't know. Oh gosh, no. That just looked awful, didn't it? Absolutely awful. So perhaps we'll have him like that. Perhaps we could have another number or something. Where did I put the numbers? I have got these ones, so I don't know whether these are in my shop yet. These are just some that I'm currently working on. I think probably by the time this video goes up, they will be in my shop. But at the moment, they're just a work in progress. So, yeah, I don't know whether they're actually completed or not. But again, they're really fun to use. So let's just put them down. Oh, it's getting really hot up here today again. It's like lovely weather. We really have been lucky lately. The weather's been absolutely gorgeous. Right, just check he's got no bits to come out, being popped out anywhere. I can't see any. So we'll just glue him on. Okie dokie. Okay, yeah, it will suddenly come to a point where the scales tips the other way. So instead of frantically trying to use up some of these paper dolls, suddenly I'll be feeling I don't have many left. And then I will stop using them and start hoarding them. That seems to be the the general pattern that seems to occur. You know, one minute I'm overrun and think, oh, I must whittle that down. And then as soon as it starts getting whittled down, I go into, oh no, there's, you know, barely any left. I don't want to use any more. Right, so these are quite flimsy pages. So I think what we'll do is just make some little bits to sort of hang on them. And of course we might make something to pop in there. So let's just put in, right, we've got the rest of these, you know, scraps here. So I think what we could do, we could make one of those like long flat envelopes. These 12 by 12 sheets are absolutely perfect for that. Really, you know, work just brilliantly for them. So if I just fold that there, and I'm going to trim this down slightly so that the pocket part of the envelope is like way smaller than the flap. I mean, of course it would have been anyway, but you know, it says it's just really, really obvious that we've made it a long flap, if that makes sense. So we just then fold that over like that, and then we just have that flap coming down here, and then obviously I'll just tidy this up because it's not particularly neatly cut down here, and we'll just tidy that up down the side. Oops. Okay, right, looking good. So I'm going to just round the corners of just the flap, I think. And again, you know, if you had your sewing machine, you could just sew your envelope up. I'm just going to glue mine. It's fine, glue's, you know, perfectly good too. Okay, oops, I'm now covered in corners that are now flicking around everywhere. So that's my little envelope piece. So we could have that in that pocket. Just gonna have a sip of my tea. Okay, right, let's make a couple of other things. So here, this is scrapbook paper, so this tends to be a bit thicker. So again, we could make something, you know, a bit heavier to actually go onto the page. So I've got this. I mean, I've had this for like a really long time. Again, I have used this in, I think, a mini album. But yeah, this is just kind of an overspill really. So let's use this for something. I'm trying to think what it's, you know, what is pointing, you know, what's calling me to make from it. Maybe some sort of like tag. A tag sort of pocket. So, you know, it like won't really be a tag, but we could have it stuck on the page so it looks like a tag. So I'll just trim that down slightly more. And just make it tag shaped like that. Oops. Not quite like that. Like that. Okay. And then we'll just punch a hole in the top. Those hole reinforcers then. Just there. Okay. And then I'm just going to kind of have that stuck down on the page. Now I'm just wondering whether I need anything. Just get rid of my tea, sorry about that. Just wonder whether I need anything through the hole there. Again, it would be quite good if I could just use something that's laying around. And now I can't see anything that's quite suitable. I normally have like little sort of, I don't know, bits of lace or something like that. And I thought, oh, something like that would just be ideal. And now lo and behold, there's nothing that's kind of drawing me to it. But weirdly, now in the rummaging, I have just suddenly spotted a couple of other things that maybe would be quite good on here. So, right, okay. Well, I've got a label. Oh, that's quite cool, isn't it? Yep, I really like that. And whoops, might just have that number 4. Okay, let's just have that down there. Oh my gosh, it's really hot up here. Really hot. Okay. And I'm just going to pop this label down. Again, like I often do, I'm just going to kind of have it to the side. I don't know what that's about either. I just really think they look good when they're, you know, I mean, not necessarily cut in half, but just have a portion of them. That's my favourite way to use a label. So we just then cut that down. Okay, and we've got this boy. He can just sit on there like that. He's a bit high now, but never mind, doesn't matter. It just, you know, kind of just for observation really. He was obviously lower down just now. So I might have that on there as well. So again, let's just pop this stuff all on. So we have him there. Not him, the number. Right, there's no little pokey bits to come out of this boy. He's all as he should be, with all his bits intact. Okay. I'll just have him there, like that. Now, what's happened to my wipe now? There it is, under my scissors. I knew it was here somewhere. Yeah, you'll notice when I suddenly am running low on my paper dolls, because suddenly they'll just be not used ever again. No, I might get bored of them first, but because there are a lot. So I'm just going to ink around quite a bit. Like that. Ink his face a bit, because otherwise he's quite white. Well, he's not white, but, you know, quite grey compared to the piece. So I just need to make him a little bit more sepia. Like that. Right, I'm going to have him there, down there. Now, this was floating about, and I thought that looked good on the bottom of there. Do we want to ink that up is the question. Let me just ink a little part of it, and we'll just see whether it looks better brown or whether it looks better white. I quite liked the stark white, but, you know, maybe not. I quite like it both ways, to be honest. Hard to decide. Just get that blob of glue off of my 3-in-1. Okay. We've got our paddling pool up now. So it had a puncture at first. I know I've talked about this before, but yeah, we were able to fix the puncture. So the paddling pool is up in the garden. I'm filming ahead, so just in case the weather has really deteriorated by the time this video goes up, at the point of doing this video, the weather was lovely. So yeah, I haven't gone mad. The weather was really nice at the point of filming. Might have to have a bit of this kind of coming out to the edge, I think. So this is just that yummy vintage newspaper. Just looks really nice kind of in the background, doesn't it? So again, let me just move my my stuff up. Yeah, so when I finish filming, I might have to actually go down in the paddling pool for a bit. You know, I mean, it's not big enough to obviously swim in or anything like that, but I mean, I can just sit. It's right by our trampoline. So it's quite handy because you can actually sit and just kind of dangle your legs in from the trampoline, which is quite good because you don't really fully have to get in it. I mean, it comes up to like, I don't know, just like between your knees and your thighs, I suppose. But to be honest, when it's freezing cold water, that's like deep enough. Like, whoa, that is way deep enough. You wouldn't really want it any deeper than that. Because my gosh, that water is really cold. Like really, really cold. But yeah, so I might have to just go and just dangle my feet in there because I'm like literally boiling, absolutely boiling up here. Right, I have this, which I was gifted in Happy Mail, which I've used a titchy bit so far. Oh, I wonder whether I could have that. Oh, look, it just kind of comes apart, which I obviously was not aware of until now. But maybe that would be quite good as my little, because I don't want anything too bulky, because obviously this is going to just be like a pocket. So if I just cut that down here, and then if I just maybe staple that in place like that, rather than knot it, because obviously if you knot it, then it's going to be, you know, very lumpy on your page. So if I just staple that there, like that, that's quite nice, isn't it? Is that looking really weird? Does that make him look a bit girly, having that fabric fibre? Not sure what you'd define it as really, but I've also got this lace, which again, this was gifted to me in Happy Mail, and this is lovely against this journal. Oh, he's quite nice on the background there actually, isn't he? Might have to put him on there now. Just thinking. Let me just ink it up a little bit more. Just to sort of make it even more grungy kind of looking. I'm thinking what I'm going to have to do, because otherwise this series is going to get like incredibly long. So I'm thinking perhaps what we need to do is fill this journal, and I will decorate it, you know, in slow time, so that we can actually get through the pile. Because otherwise I'm just aware that we're going to be here like for a really long time. So yeah, maybe we will just like fill the journal, and then stuff like, you know, the making of this tag, for instance, I will do the rest like off camera. So it's not just dragging on endlessly. That might just be the better way to do it, I think. Right, let's glue this down. I mean, then, you know, some people do really like seeing the whole thing. I mean, obviously my intention was to really do this as like a 7-day X-Files series. It may be that obviously it will turn out it's more than 7 days. I mean, there was a lot of stuff, I have to say, in that pile. So 7 days was perhaps a bit ambitious, but... Right, so he's on there now. So yeah, I think what I'll do is kind of save decorating, and you know, so we can just get through a few more bits out of that pile. Now, what's the time? Oh my gosh, I've only got about 10 more minutes left in this video. So let's quickly make something for here, because obviously I've now stuck that down, so we're sort of committed a bit. So again, I've got this lovely paper that I just really, really love. Shall we just have a pocket there, because you know, it's obviously lending itself to a pocket. Or what we could do, actually, let's have this one. yeah, let's have this. So I'm just going to like roughly fold it where I need to chop it size wise. Oh, now just thinking, shall we leave it like that? And then it's got a sort of foldy bit. Should we do that? Don't know whether that just looks really odd. Well, we can always cut it off, can't we, afterwards? So let's start it by having it there. Okay. So we'll put this down here, running down the edge of the page. Oh my gosh, look at how crooked that is. It's not good. Not good cutting there. Right. Now, do we like this or do we think that's just odd? Again, could we have something? It's probably better without it, to be honest. Yeah, I was thinking, oh, that might be really interesting, but actually we can always add some sort of flappy type bit ourselves. I think that just looked a little bit too homemade, you know, kind of like too, oh, it's just there, let's just leave it there. That just is strange, isn't it? So we just glue this one down. Okay, and again, you know, like I say, I'm going to obviously decorate this afterwards because, you know, we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle if I stop and decorate every single bit. So rest assured, it will be decorated. It won't be left. But yeah, probably have to do that, you know, in slower time, I think. So, okay. So that's that one, and then go over. So these are thinner again. Right, that's the other side of that. So on this one, now what I kind of paused at just now was I thought we could just have one that's like folding out. So if I cut this in half, oh, this is just kidding me because I really like this. Right. Yep. So then what I'm going to do is just fold it here like that. Probably should get my bone folder. Now I don't know where that's gone. It's here, look, in my drawer. So just squash that down. And then what we can do is attach it round the corner like that. So you've got a sort of foldy flip. Now, do we want it like that, or would we prefer it coming up at the top? My automatic thing was to have it, you know, off at the side, but it might be quite nice at the top, actually. So let's do that. Oops. I mean, obviously, you know, these are literally scrapbook papers. So, I mean, those folds as hinges, they're not going to be the strongest, you know. You have to just bear that in mind. But, you know, I mean, I do see lots of people using copy paper a lot. And I think sometimes I'm just a little bit too terrified that things are going to, you know, fall apart. And actually, things seem more robust than I often think. So yeah, let's just be confident and use this. Okay, so we've got a really nice flippy type piece there, and of course, you know, we might put something underneath here as well, but we don't have to. So obviously over the page I've now got this, which, you know, I'm not then that keen on that, whoops, that being like that. So we would try and cover that up. We could just have like big corner pocket, which, do we have enough here? Yep. So if I just tear that across, I mean, I really like the look of torn pieces, to be honest. So, you know, that's why I do my corners like that. But I mean, of course, lots of people do have them, you know, cut straight across, or often people have them, folded and things like that, you know, those Rita Donnelly flips. So again, you know, go with the style that you like best. I really like the torn edges, but I do realise that not everybody does. In fact, now I'm just wondering whether I see anyone else doing that. Maybe it's just me who likes them, I'm not sure. But yeah. So that's just then a really, really easy pocket, and you know, I mean, it looks really good, I think, but just dead simple and dead easy. Like that. And we made these in the mass make where we then doubled them up. So you could always do like another torn pocket above it. So, I mean, we could do it from here. I'm just thinking what else we might want to make from this. Obviously, it's only a tiny little scrap that's left. But if we were to make a tag, for instance, so if I just cut this down like that. So we've got that piece that we can make a tag from. And then this piece, if we just tear this like that. I'll just cut that white edge off. Okay. So then you can have your double pocket going on. So you've got a pocket there and a pocket there, which I always think is really nice. So we'll just do that. And then that again, is getting rid of more stuff from that pile. So we're doing quite well actually on whittling that pile down now. Well, I say that, I've just looked behind me and obviously the majority of the pile is still there on the floor. Because I mean, although this seemed like a huge stack of stuff, it actually wasn't that much in the scheme of things. And of course we only made one signature in the end, so we still have that other semi journal kind of put together beside me. So right, that's that piece, and then go over the page. So these are thickish, so they can definitely have something clipped on, or if I've got something finished, they can have something on them. So then we've just got this bit here. So again, let's just see what we can do. Whew, it's very, very, very hot up here now. Right, so what we could do is, let's just have a bit of a look here. I mean, we could just have a straight pocket. We could have a belly band, you know. You go through phases, I don't know about you, but you know, where you kind of use certain things and then I forget to use them. And with belly bands, I think is one of those things that I don't use that often. And actually, they're quite fun to do, aren't they? So yeah, let's have a belly band there. So I'm just going to chop that down. Like that. I'll just chop it down here slightly. Oops, in there, because it's just got a bit of white on it. Okay, right, that's okay. And then what we could do, again, to use up more paper, or, you know, use up more that we've got here, just having a bit of a look, is what we could do is take, for instance, this piece, which is quite neutral. And I know that I did something like this in a video recently. We could just chop down here at the side. And we could just do like a wrap around the belly band, like that. So, yep, if we just put that down there. Oops. Sorry, I'm not making a very good job of doing this. That one up there. And then we'll obviously glue that on. And then you've got sort of foldy pieces, which just makes it all a bit more interesting, doesn't it? Now, that has got a tear in it. Again, I mean, that doesn't really worry me, but, you know, it's just as well to be pointing things out. So just going to glue that round. Right, best check the time in a moment, because right, how do I want this? That there. I want it like that. Sorry, I just had to work out there kind of which way up my leaves were going to be on that paper, because although it hasn't got much of a pattern, it has got a little bit of a pattern. So, and probably the leaves would be better up the right way, wouldn't they? And then we're just going to then glue this down on each edge. Like that. Okay, like that. And that. Let me check the time. Oh my gosh, we really are up to time now. So yes, right. So we've done quite a bit on our journal. Now, the only other piece that I have this, which again, to me, this just feels like it's kind of a pocket on its own, to be honest. So I wonder whether we could have this on one of those thicker pieces. I think we might be able to. Maybe if we could even have it on the blue. Right, let me just tear this, actually. Just going to check. Oh, decisions. Right, I wonder if we could have it here. So, yeah, I'm going to have it there. I need to cut it down because it's pretty huge at the moment. So just get rid of that. Just get rid of this. Like that. So again, this was just from some scrapbook paper, and for some reason again I had been holding this. Why would I be holding this? It's just weird, isn't it? Just weird what we choose to hoard sometimes. This is probably because I had this before I kind of got into junk journals, and so, you know, things like this were kind of few and far between in terms of scrapbook paper. And I just loved the whole postage theme type thing that it had going on. So I obviously then didn't really want to use it. I mean, little did I know there was this whole world of junk journals that actually, there's tons of like post stamp pieces and things like that. So yeah, I needn't have hoarded it all that time, but I think that's where that came from anyway. Right, so that's just going to go in that corner like that. Okay, well, we've made quite a promising start there on that journal. So I might continue a bit in slow time. And as I say, obviously we'll come back and, you know, show you what we've achieved. And then, yeah, and how we're getting on with the pile. So I hope that you're going to join me next time for a bit more of the X piles. And we shall see how we're getting on. So thanks so much for joining me. And I will see you guys soon. Thanks then. Bye.